Martov. So the good news is the day is half over already. That's, of course, the advantage of starting our days at night by the Hebrew calendar. Over the past weeks, I've received a number of questions about my hat. The white hat that I wear on the high holidays. Been asked, what's it called? Why do I wear it? Where is it from? Is there some story? Was there some ritual of initiation that I went through? So I thought I'd share a little bit about my hat this morning. Don't worry, this isn't the sermon. Rabbi was gracious and gave me 27 minutes. For some people of an older generation, the hat might conjure up warm memories of the shul of their youth. If so, I'm glad. For others, it might seem old world, orthodox, perhaps. Maybe it screams, look at me. I don't see it that way. So let me tell you my hat story. First, a little bit of background. For centuries, it's been the Ashkenazi tradition that cantors wear hats, known in English as a mitre, known in Yiddish as a chazonische yarmulke, a cantorial kippah, a hoiche yarmulke, a tall kippah. This likely began during the Reformation as Jews wished to be seen by their peers to be seen as peers by their Christian neighbors. As they began building beautiful synagogues with organs and choir lofts, sermons were delivered in vernacular instead of Yiddish, and as synagogues began employing cantors to sing arias and recitatives. As a young child, I would occasionally attend traditional synagogues with my grandparents. In my grandmother's shul, there was a cantor in his choir. It was a beautiful thing to see and hear. The cantor stood up in his white robe, his tallis adorned with a freshly polished silver atara, and a beautiful white silk hat atop his head. When he opened his mouth to daven, you could hear a pin drop. That is what I wanted to be when I grew up. I watched from the balcony in awe, and I have such vivid memories of the high holy days spent there with my grandmother, of blessed memory. Fast forward 15 years or so. I'm 22 years old, an undergraduate at the University of Judaism in Los Angeles. I got a call that a small shul was looking for a part-time cantor, really part-time, high holidays, and once a month. It was a lovely congregation of about 100 families. It was founded in the 50s by a German immigrant, Rabbi Meir Schimmel, of blessed memory. So I passed the audition, and I arrived on my first Shabbat. Rabbi Benson handed me a black robe, as was the custom. He asked me where my black hat was. I indicated that I didn't have one. He explained to me that the custom of the synagogue was that clergy wear robes and cantors wear hats. I should look for one. Now, I'll be honest with you, I looked at myself in that black robe and I kind of laughed because it was the former rabbi's robe and he was about 2 heads taller than I was. Looked like wearing my dad's sport coat when I was a kid. But I went with it. The rabbi said any chazan worth his salt should own a black hat. I went to New York not long after that, and I found one store that sold cantorial hats. Excuse me. I was told that there were a couple of men in Israel still making them to order. So I inquired, but those were very expensive, and they took quite a while to make. So I bought the only one that they had in the store. It was beautiful. It's right here. It had the same flower brocade pattern as Moshe Kusevitsky, the great cantor, wore. It was so, can I hold it up here? How's that? Demonstration. It was so exciting to own a hat. And as I found out that neck job is so uncomfortable to wear a hat, it was too small. So I spent the year gaining the love of the congregation and leaving every Shabbat with a splitting headache. When the High Holy Days came around later that summer, the same question came up about a white mitre. Again, I didn't have one. But this time I called J. Levine in New York, and they didn't have any left. Holidays were coming after all. I called the milliner in Israel, the hat maker. He couldn't make one as quickly as I needed. I didn't know what to do, so I called my childhood cantor, Cantor Fox. He told me to come by. When I did, he pulled this yellowed silk hat off the shelf. It's pom-pom flat from so many years of wear. He bought it in the 1960s when he first became a cantor as a teenager. He hadn't worn it for many years, and he gave it to me as a gift to start my career. That's this one. And I've worn this hat for most of the past 15 High Holy Day seasons. It's becoming a little bit fragile, too fragile to dry clean. It's a little bit small on me, and it's no longer as white as it was when I got it. But I wear it with pride, and I wear it with a lot of love, keeping my teacher close to my heart every year at this time. Today, the milliners in Israel have since passed on. The only place to find a proper chazon sheyamulke, ironically enough, is from the maker of Eastern Orthodox Catholic vestments in Romania. The Israeli cantors found him and taught him. I've said for a few years, perhaps this year I'll order a new hat. Maybe this year I will. It's getting a little bit uncomfortable. But there's something magical about putting on this hat. On the most basic level, it's a hidur mitzvah. It's something that makes the holiday feel special and different, something that makes davening feel beautiful. But more than that, I daven better when I wear it. My kavanah's deeper. I know I won't crack a high note, hopefully. Even as I introduce new melodies, it keeps me connected to past generations. It makes me feel like a link in a chain that will continue for generations to come. To me, the hat is not about ostentation, but contemplation. I feel a great sense of responsibility wearing this hat. Responsibility to the past, but also to the present. I feel responsibility to the present, not to bring the past to life, not only to bring the past to life, but to introduce new music, new tunes and old ones, to use that music to make prayer do what it has done for so many generations, to touch the soul, to inspire the spirit, and to open the heart. So now I will take off the kippah that my grandfather of blessed memory wore for so many High Holy Days. And I'll put on this hat as we join together to the prayers of Musaf, as we ask God to give us one more year of goodness together. Now, this is a little bit ad-lib. The rabbi asked me what my tradition for Hineni was a couple of days ago. Was it that the congregation stand? Was it that the congregation do the wave as I walk by? Was it that the congregation be seated? And I looked at him and I said, I don't really know. It's like the old story of the rabbi, who his first High Holidays with the Shema, right? So I'll invite you to sit, or I'll invite you to stand, or I'll invite you to rise as I walk by, whatever feels most comfortable. But I want you to feel yourselves in this moment. Hinenu. We are here. We're ready to pray. It's not about me. It's about all of us. Please join me in singing this nigun as we prepare for Hineni.